Back again. This is the Dawn. We call it the NFL Talk Show. That's the reason why they call me the Dawn of Sport Entertainment. This is how we do it. I have in the house the big guy himself, Mike. Fantastic. It's been fantastic moment, you know that. Come on, let's go. Big Mike is here. Let's get him to the spiritual NFL Talk Show. It is what it is, Big Mountain. I love this. Mike all the way. So many things have been happening in NFL. At the moment, trades, draft, a lot. But I can say though, the big man himself is here. To slice it, to dissect it. Big Mountain. If you don't know it, forget about it. This is NFL Talk Show. This is how we do it. Let's go there. I'm going to bring in Mike right now. He's in the studio. Mike is here.
All right, we're here in the studio. We're in the building. We're getting ready to, man, we got a lot to go over today. We're doing big things in here. A lot of movements and happenings in the NFL. A lot of trades going down. We getting ready for free agency on the 16th. Teams preparing for that and the draft. I mean, we got a lot to go over, but that's a good thing. So, yeah, we get and we're going to have a guest today. We're going to link up with him. He's somebody that I really trust when it comes to talking football. He knows his stuff. He's very, very knowledgeable. He's been around the game, and I think he's going to bring in some good, fresh perspectives for us, and just make this show a little more lively. But we got the energy today. We had the hype man on the mic getting us ready for the show, getting everybody pumped up. It's a little cold out there today. Snowing in the Baltimore area, but I think it's just about done. Winter trying to come at us one last time, but man, we ready to do it. We in the building. We're at the studio, so we're just trying to make it happen. Like I said, it's a lot to go over, but it's exciting stuff because it's going down. I mean, it's and once some of these big moves happen, all the other kind of dominoes are going to fall into place. But like I said, we're going to have a guest today. We're going to link up with him shortly. My producer's going to let me know when we get him ready to go. First thing I'll say is welcome everybody. Glad you're watching. Thanks for being here, taking time out of your day to watch the show. Let me see. Oh yeah, so if you're new to the channel, or even if you're not, please make sure you subscribe. Please like the video, and please leave some comments in there. Like I said, we want to hear from the people watching these videos. If you have some suggestions, if you got any questions, just let us know. We want to be interactive with everybody. So we just please, get involved. And like I said, we like to hear from people. Definitely give us some feedback. Let us know where we can improve. Let us know what you like. Just let me know, because Mr. Producer, if I'm not doing my job, he's going to replace me. He's going to find somebody better. So, please just make sure you get involved with us. I guess a couple the most pressing thing I'll talk about that literally just happened within the last hour or two Amari Cooper getting traded from the Dallas Cowboys to the Cleveland Browns. There was a lot of talk about a possible move happening. I think they were trying to find a suitor, somebody that was willing to take on his, I think, $20 or $22 million a year salary. Cooper, when he's on, and he can be one of the most exciting wide receivers in the game. But I think he's dealt with some injuries, inconsistencies with, dropping the ball. I think some people have questioned his passion and his heart for the game. I think it's easy for him sometimes to kind of just turn it off and not be involved. So the Cowboys sent Amari Cooper to Cleveland along with a 6th-round pick for a 5th and a 6th. So that's not a lot they're getting back, but that's more or less, let's get something for them before we release them. Because if you release them and somebody signs them, you're not going to get anything in return. So that also had a ripple effect with Amari Cooper ending up in Cleveland with Baker Mayfield, Jarvis Landry, a receiver who it's been questioned whether he was going to have a future with the team. They have given him permission to seek a trade out. So he's free now to go ahead and see if his agent or whomever can find somebody that would be interested in taking him on. So that'll be another interesting thing to watch with that. So hope everybody's having a good day so far today. Like I said, it's a lot going on. I wasn't expecting all these trades this week. Trying to save the big one for when we get our guest here on the show. For when we get the guest on the show. So I'm just trying to go over some of the, I guess, minor things. Let me see. We had a couple. I guess one of the other big headlines of the week was Aaron Rodgers finally made his decision. He said he was coming back to the Green Bay Packers. So we're going to see what kind of effect that has on the young QB Jordan Love, who they drafted. They're making it sound like they're not interested in trading him, but I think that remains to be seen. If somebody offers them some compensation that they're happy with, and maybe if they feel they can get another QB. But with Aaron Rodgers coming back, I don't know if this is a 1-year thing or 2 years, but at least for this season, he's coming back, and that had a domino effect on other QB situations in the NFL. Another move to talk about was Carson Wentz got traded from the Indianapolis Colts to the Washington Commanders. So they sent Carson Wentz and what looks like a 2nd-round pick in return for a 3rd-round pick and 2 3rd-round picks, and one third could become a 2nd, depending on how much playing time he gets. So I don't know if I would have made that move if I was Washington. Kind of reeks of desperation to me. I think at that point, and to take on all the salary, I believe he's getting paid $28 million a year. That's a lot of money for a guy who, as reports were saying, his leadership was questioned. They said that he was a little reckless in his play style. So we'll see. DC, I can't say I'm on board with that move. I thought maybe they would have tried to sign one of these guys like maybe Mitchell Trubisky, see if they could get him on track in his career, or even a guy like Jameis Winston, who is coming off an injury, but I thought he was having a nice year for the Saints before he got hurt, or even Marcus Mariota, who has been backing up Derek Carr the last 2 years in Las Vegas. I would have leaned towards one of those guys, but as the producer would say, it is what it is. They made the move, so they got to live with it now. So I still think, I don't know how, I'd still be looking for a QB because I'm sorry, but Carson Wentz is not the answer in DC. He had his moments early on in his career, but it seems like, when he was electrifying in Philadelphia, it seems like that was a lifetime ago. So we'll see what happens. Let's see. Another note I will say is saw a report about Deshaun Watson of the Texans. He's another great young QB, but he's been in limbo because of all the legal situation surrounding him. I did read that the district attorney was not going to be pressing criminal charges against him. He is still facing, I think, 22 civil lawsuits. Excuse me, 22 civil lawsuits. But I think with the fact that he's not going to be facing criminal charges, I think somebody is going to try to make a deal for Deshaun Watson. I'm not really sure who it's going to be right now, but I think he's 25, 26 years old. He's still in the prime of his career. And when he was playing, he was one of the most exciting QBs in the NFL. So, and Houston seems like they're in full rebuild mode. They're just trying to get as many assets as they can, whether it's draft picks or young players. So I think they're going to try to move on from him. They have the young QB, Davis Mills, who they had drafted from Stanford in the 3rd round. So, and he was showing some flashes last year, so I think they'll be excited to move on from Deshaun Watson and get on with the future there. So we haven't been able to reach our guest yet. Well, that's unfortunate, but that's okay. The show must move on. Let's see. So, like I said, I was talking about QBs. Mitchell Trubisky, Jameis Winston, Marcus Mariota. I think somebody needs to give Trubisky a shot. Winston obviously showed that he can play. Hopefully, I'd like to see him go back to New Orleans, but they're in a terrible financial situation with the salary cap. So I don't really know how much they could really put around him. But I think Trubisky, I mean, he has the intangibles you would want, from a physical standpoint in a QB. So maybe he can go somewhere where they can coach him up. He just sat behind Josh Allen, one of the best QBs in the NFL last year. Maybe he picked something up from him. Maybe he absorbed, through osmosis a little bit of his, knowledge and field awareness and things like that. But we've seen guys like Ryan Fitzpatrick, Fitzmagic. He's played with 8 or 9 teams. He's gotten a couple decent contracts, and he was a decent QB throughout his career, but he was nothing exciting. But so many teams were willing to take, a chance on him and sign him. So, and Mitchell Trubisky is so young. I think he's 23, 24, something like that, maybe 25. So somebody needs to take a shot and go after him. In the other news, the Titans re-signed their edge rusher, Harold Landry, who they had given the franchise tag. If you don't know what the franchise tag is, essentially that's a 1-year deal that's given to a player, and it averages out to, I think, the salary, the top 5 or 10 players at that position. And really, that's just a tool that teams use to try to negotiate a long-term deal, in which they were able to do. So Harold Landry for the Tennessee Titans gets a 5-year, $87.5 million extension. My producer's over there shaking his head. He's in disbelief. He just can't believe it. But, you got to pay to play, and he plays a premium position, edge rusher. Teams are constantly searching for that. So Harold Landry. But we've seen in recent years where some players have broke out and had a great year, especially edge rushers, and some of them kind of fell off a cliff the following year. So I think Harold Landry beats that trend, though. I think he's on a very strong team in the Titans, good organization, one of the best teams in the NFL. So congrats to him on that extension. A lot of money, but like I said, he's at a premium position. Another re-signing. If you're not familiar with this young man, Max Crosby, he plays for the Las Vegas Raiders. He is a great young pass rusher. This guy, you got to love his story. I mean, he was a 4th-round pick. He played out of a smaller school, Eastern Michigan, which is in the MAC conference, which is the Mid-American Conference. So he came out as a 4th-round pick. He had some raw tools. The Raiders saw potential in him. I mean, he's got a huge wingspan. He kind of reminds you of maybe like a young J.J. Watt. That's body wise and stature. That's who he reminded me of. So, Max Crosby, I believe it was a 5-year, $98 million extension? I believe that's what it was. So, congrats to him. A lot of people look at the stat sheets and they may not see the sacks there, but you can't always judge purely based off stats. His impact on the game, he's hitting the QB, he's harassing the QB, he's stopping the run, he's doing it all. And he's another young player. I think he is 24 years old. That seems to be a trend. And like I said, he just had a huge 24 years old and had a huge impact on the game. And like I said, he's got these long arms, so he has the ability to wrap people up. He can, like I said, stop the run. He's also got a pretty good penchant for deflecting the pass. Which is, if you got a guy that's at 6'5" and he's got the kind of wingspan of somebody that's maybe like 6'8" or 6'9", for those of you that are also basketball fans, that wingspan can really come into play. So I am a Raiders fan. I was glad to see them lock him up. Hopefully he's going to be a huge part of their future there. These guys are getting paid, but he's showing that he's one of the best pass rushers in the NFL. So congrats to him. Another big move was Landon Collins getting released by the Washington Commanders. Former Pro Bowl safety. I believe he's made 3 Pro Bowls in his career. He had signed with Washington 4 years ago. He came over from the New York Giants, was one of the best safeties in the NFL. I think it was a bad fit from the get-go, and I know he also dealt with some injuries. But at, I think, 29 or 30 years old, he's gonna sign with somebody, and I think he's going to show that he can still play and still be one of the best at his position. The safety position, that's something you got to have on a defense. That's your last line of defense. He's all the way in the back, depending on the scheme. But most of the time, you have 2 safeties on the field. Sometimes you may have 3, depending on the package. But you got to have a guy back there in case your corner gets beat or your linebackers get beat or somebody's out of position or somebody on offense just makes a great play. So I think Landon Collins is going to sign on with somebody. If I had to venture to guess, maybe he stays close to where he already is. Maybe he signs on with a team like the Ravens. I think they would like his leadership, and maybe they can sign him to a deal that is full of incentives. Maybe he doesn't get a huge base salary, but maybe they could sign him and give him a lot of clauses to earn extra money. But like I said, I don't think he's going to have a shortage of suitors. So he's out in Washington, but like I said, former All-Pro and Pro Bowl safety, he shouldn't have a problem finding a home. Another move was Trey Flowers, the defensive end for the Detroit Lions. Trey Flowers that came over from the New England Patriots, signed a huge deal there with the Lions. And his teammates and I think the organization spoke highly of him. But I know he also struggled with injuries and inconsistency when getting there. But they didn't have anything bad to say about him. And we've noticed that some of these players, especially defensive players, when they've left New England and Bill Belichick and that whole system there in Foxborough, some of them struggled to make an impact outside of New England. So with him being released, I could see a reunion, with New England. Why not? Bill Belichick, bring him back. He's not going to get paid top dollar, but, it'd be a paycheck. He goes somewhere he's familiar with. And maybe have a rebound season and maybe set himself up for another, decent contract down the road. So Trey Flowers is out. The Lions, I think, have a pretty decent amount of cap space. I think might be a 20+ million. So I think they're going to look to the draft to get a big-time pass rusher because Trey Flowers did not pan out for them. Another move would be, I probably should have led with this, but Bobby Wagner, the All-Pro, Pro Bowl linebacker from the Seattle Seahawks, spent 10 years with the Seahawks. Came out of Utah State, a smaller school, but from day one, he stepped into the lineup, and I think he's had 100+ tackles every year he's played. He's been a constant, and I think you can argue that he's been the greatest middle linebacker of this current generation, or one of them. Depends what you define generation as, but over the last 10 years, I mean, he's been symbol of excellence. He's been great at what he's done, and now that Seattle has released him, there's already been a ton of talk about potential destinations. They said every team in his division, whether it's the LA Rams, the Arizona Cardinals, San Francisco 49ers, are all extremely interested. I think I read that at least a total of 12 teams were interested. He's one, even though he may be 32, 33 years old, he's still playing a really good level. Maybe his play might have fell off a little bit last year, but he wasn't playing with the best defense either. So I think you put him into another team with some strong assets on defense. I think Bobby Wagner comes out there, and he shows people why he's one of the greatest middle linebackers of all time. So that's going to be very interesting to watch. A great player, great leader, great teammate. I've never heard anything negative about him. It's always been positive. And there's so many teams that would just be instantly better if they were to bring him on board. So that's going to be a really a big move there. A lot of teams going after him. Another big trade was Khalil Mack getting traded from the Chicago Bears to the Los Angeles Chargers. The Bears received a 2nd-round pick and a 6th-round pick for Khalil Mack. Khalil Mack, you can't deny, has been just a generational player. He got drafted in 2014 by the Las Vegas Raiders. The 4th pick, he came out of a small college. I mean, another great story. I think he was a guy that when he was coming out of high school, he didn't have teams interested in college teams really beating down his door. So he goes to Buffalo, dominates, comes to the NFL, and he just killed it. He's the only player to ever be named All-Pro at 2 positions in the same year, at linebacker and defensive end. So, it's that's a big-time move there. Hold on one second. Producer's trying to get my attention. Who do we got here? Is this our guest?
Backstage.
Would this be our guest of honor, Tony? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can't see anything.
Hey, I can see you. What's going on, champ? Seems like we're having some troubles with the feed there, Mr. Producer. Hopefully we can figure this out, because I was excited about getting my good friend Tony here. Like I said, very knowledgeable. And I think he could just, like I said, bring another perspective and really get into, what would you say, the meat of some of these moves, because they definitely have some big-time ramifications. So Mr. Producer is going to try to work on trying to get him back. So we're going to wait that. Like I said, hopefully we can get him in here for a couple of these moves. If not, I'm going to at least try to save the biggest one for last. Let me see. So another move was Corey Littleton, linebacker for the Raiders. He was released. He came over from the Rams. He was a big-time linebacker with the Rams, and he signed a nice contract with the Raiders. Didn't really pan out for the Raiders like they were hoping. I think he may have been a mismatch in their scheme in the sense that he just didn't fit in. It didn't help that the Raiders, for the majority of his time there, had one of the worst defensive coordinators in the NFL in Paul Guenther, and John Gruden took his sweet time getting rid of him, and by the time they did, I think the damage was already done. And I think when you get players that are, definitely good players, and they go somewhere and they either underperform or underachieve, some of these guys, they've never experienced, either losing or, being down on their game. And I think that really maybe hurt his confidence. I'm not sure. But they released him, opened up some cap space. So, again, he's still a young player, I think 27, 28 years old. So somebody will sign him. I would say a reunion with the Rams, but I just don't think the Rams have the money. They're trying to bring back guys like Odell Beckham and Von Miller. So we'll see where his market is. But like I said, I think that was just a mismatch from the gate. So the Raiders decided to move on from him, open up some cap space, I think, to make hopefully a bigger potential move, maybe try to open up some cap space to try to sign a player like maybe J.C. Jackson from the Patriots, who in his short time in the NFL has proven to be one of the best corners. He's definitely a ball hawk. He can force turnovers. I know some people may question some of his coverage ability, whether it be zone or man or press coverage. He may not be the best cover man in some instances, but I think with the talent that he has, if you have good coaching and also good talent around you, I think he can be coached up even more to improve on his technique. But he has an eye for the ball, so that's definitely a big thing. So we'll see. Let's see what else we got going on. Well, like I said, I was trying to wait to talk about the biggest move of the week, but unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be able to get our guest on. So the last move I'm going to talk about, and this is the final one, is Russell Wilson getting traded from the Seattle Seahawks to the Denver Broncos. Like I said, unfortunately we couldn't link up with our guest, but we're gonna have him on for another show. We just got to work out the technical issues, but these things happen. He gets traded to the Denver Broncos in exchange for 3 players, which were Drew Lock, the QB for the Broncos, Shelby Harris, who's a versatile defensive lineman. He's going to Seattle. That was a good pick because he can play defensive tackle, defensive end. He's not a superstar by any means, but he's going to definitely improve their D-line. And Noah Fant, the young tight end who was a first-round pick a couple years ago. And like I said, 2 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks. And then Denver receives Russell Wilson, a 4th-round pick. That was what started out the week with all these big trades. And kind of set a ripple effect with everything. So it was just a huge week. So that puts Denver, I would assume, squarely in contention for, trying to make the Super Bowl out of the AFC West. We'll see what they do with the rest of their moves. I was really sad to see them end up in the AFC West. The Raiders already had to deal with the likes of Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert, and now Russell Wilson. It just, it kind of sickens your stomach, but, he's a class act, and it was time to move on because Seattle didn't always seem committed to helping them out, especially with the offensive line and stuff. And before we get off here today, like I said, please make sure you like and subscribe. Just want to mention a couple of sponsors of the show. Woke Trends LLC, check them out. Lot of really different designs and stuff with their clothing. I think everybody should be able to find something definitely unique and just a unique style and everything. You're not going to find this in your typical store. So, and like I said, they're a local business, so right out of Baltimore. So please make sure you support them. Woke Trends LLC. They're fans of the show, and also I want to mention Chef Mason Corner. If you don't remember from our Super Bowl show, he's a chef, dietitian, nutritionalist, kind of all the above. Check him out. He will cater. He does parties and things like that. He's a friend of the show, and another local business right there. Somebody else we want to try to shout out, and we hope in the near future to maybe get some food from Chef Nick on here. And I've heard good things about it. He's kind of got like a fusion, I think, like Spanish, Cajun, kind of fusion blend of food there. It sounded really good. He was making me hungry during the Super Bowl. So, check both of them out. Like I said, friends of the show. And like I said, I think at some point in the future, we will be doing some kind of promotions with them, probably where we'll set up like a promo code to get you some sort of discount. And I just want to thank everybody for watching. Like I said, unfortunately, we couldn't get Tony in here, but I'm going to try to get him in next week, especially when free agency starts. We'll have a lot to talk about and go over. It's always a pleasure spending time with everybody. Hope you all are having a good Saturday. Thank you for taking the time to tune into the NFL Talk Show with the big guy. And I'm going to turn it over to the producer, the Don of Sports Media and Entertainment. You know who he is. You know what time it is. I'll see you all next week.
Big man team. Thank you, the big guy. I enjoyed the show. I said it. There's a lot going on in NFL. That's why we name it NFL Talk Show. This is the Don. We're signing out today. Until the same time next week. We were unable to bring our guest, super guest, fantastic guest. Baltimore right now is snowing, so it is what it is. Big mountain. If you don't understand it, please forget about it. Yes, I got to do what we got to do. Thank you, Big Mike. Subscribe, you guys out there. Lot of content coming out your way on this channel, Intercontinental Sports. It's about everything in sport. This is how we roll. This is how we do it. I'm signing out. Same time next week. Don't forget on Tuesday, Manchester United face Atletico Madrid. I know what I'm talking about. If you don't get it, forget about it.
If you don't like and subscribe, we're going to have to start talking about cricket.
My goodness, you hear that from the studio? Big Mike says if you don't like it, we'll start talking about cricket very soon on this channel. Everything about sport. If you're interested, just give me a call. Send a mail to me. You want to be part of this community? Wherever you're listening from, I will hook you up. No matter how, I'm going to link you up. Let's get to it. Let's get into it. Big guy.
Hit us up. Let us know if you got a local business.
Yeah.
Link up. Let us know. Tell Yemi, and we'll give you a shout out on the show. And let's partner up. And just thank you everybody for who's been supporting the channel. We've been growing so quick. Can't believe the growth and everything. And we just want to thank y'all. And like I said, if you got any ideas for future videos, send your comments in. Don't be afraid to comment and everything. I mean, we got 1,433 subscribers. It's amazing. Yemi had a dream and a vision for Intercontinental Sports TV.
Yeah.
We want to be expanding our coverage. We're really hoping to start doing NBA soon. We'll have a host for that, and we'll go from there. Baseball season's coming up. I can't guarantee I'll talk to you about baseball, but we might try. If you're interested enough, then maybe we will. You have a voice. Speak up and let us know what you want from us. We appreciate y'all.
All right, you get that? Thank you so much, big guys. Big man team, we are signing out. Bye, guys. Until same time next week. They call me the Dawn, the sport of sport entertainment.
Thanks for watching, Laura.